In 2011, American-born parliamentary nominee Jeremy Gimpel asked an audience in Florida to imagine what it would be like if the Dome of the Rock, one of Islam's holiest shrines, was blown up. As a candidate for a far-right party in Islam's parliamentary elections, those words have come back to haunt him. An Israeli panel considered a request to disqualify him from the election, which took place on January 22nd. Although this date has long since passed, the Infidel hasn't been able to find any news source announcing the panel's final decision. A member of the Jewish Home Party, Gimple was a serious contender against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He claims that the clip was from a speech he delivered to a Christian group and that his words were taken out of context. But the Anti-Defamation League wasn't impressed by Mr. Gimple's explanation and had this to say. Although Mr. Gimple has now retracted the statement, saying he opposes the idea of destroying Al-Aqsa Mosque and that it was a joke, we are appalled by the notion that an Israeli rabbi, no less one seeking elective office in Israel, would suggest an act of terrorism as a legitimate means of achieving a religious objective. Jews also cherish the Dome of the Rock, which they call the Temple Mount, as the place where two Jewish temples stood during biblical times. As for the Muslims, they believe it was the site where the Prophet Muhammad ascended into heaven. The case of the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Washington versus Sebelius, docket number 12 CV 0815 in the U.S. District Court, District of Columbia, was thrown out by the federal judge assigned to the case. U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson's decision was based on the idea that it was too early to hear the dispute. The Archdiocese, along with 42 co-plaintiffs, filed lawsuits in 2012, claiming the Affordable Care Act's mandate forcing employers to cover contraception violates the constitutionally guaranteed freedom of religion as found in the First Amendment. However, the government is issuing a notice of new rules in the first quarter of this year, with a final determination on the mandate due in August. Said Justice Jackson, "If after the new regulations are issued, plaintiffs are still not satisfied, any challenges that they choose to bring will be substantially different from the challenges in the current complaint." Last year, the Infidel reported on the schism in the South Carolina Diocese of the Episcopal Church, which resulted in those who supported Bishop Mark Lawrence seceding from the Anglican Communion to form their own sovereign church. The American Episcopal Church recently took steps to rebuild their governance over the remaining Episcopal loyalists known as continuing Episcopalians, who did not follow the ersatz bishop and their secessionist brothers and sisters. The Most Reverend Catherine Jefferts Scory, presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, came to the diocese to hold a special convention, during which the Right Reverend Charles von Rosenberg was nominated, elected, and installed as provincial bishop, thus reconstituting the administration of the Diocese of South Carolina as an official diocese under the Episcopal Church and a member of the Anglican Communion. Legal questions still remain over who should control properties and symbols which were owned by the diocese while under the umbrella of the greater Anglican body. Reverend Canon Jim Lewis of the Breakaway Sect, discussing the group's lawsuit over the name, seal and property of the diocese, said, "Our request for a declaratory judgment is now in the hands of the Court of the State of South Carolina. We expect a full and fair hearing of the issues that will in time vindicate a right to freedom of association."